Thanks. I needed this. I needed a chapter that could calm me down a little bit. After having two chapters greatly making me mad, this chapter actually calmed me down, and it's surprisingly lighthearted and, you know, peaceful. It's the Doctor Stone chapter 20, and I am the Angry Anime Fan, the Despair Reviewer. As the rumors about Senku now having reached the village is all over this small village, the stories on who he is, though, is not exactly so very true. The kids create the story that he's an alien with the, well, burning things and demon. Once again, pretty funny that Stone Edge people can have that fantasy, although technically they're not Stone Edge people. It also revealed that, well, Ruri is extremely popular. Granted, I think we could have known that just by watching her. But the fact that one guy says that if he's dangerous, I'll crush him, and then Ruri will fall for me. And then we see the three girls. And what makes them so funny, they seem to be typical, at least one of them, a typical, not valley girl, but the very fact that she says, wherever or not that guy is strong, that's all there is. And another one says, who cares if he's strong? A hottie, a hottie. I'm just laughing at that. I know the fact that they're not Stone Edge people, but they still talk like very much like modern people, even though they are a little bit limited. It is so enjoyable to watch that. Oh yeah, and Jasper and Turkus have talked to the village elder, which I very likely presume is Kuaku's father, as he proclaims that he should disown her for her disregard for rules, but Ruli can only cough. Elsewhere, Kohaku has joined up with Chrome and Senku, as they saying that if you manage to cure my sister, I will cooperate with you all the way I can. Senku, however, is just smiling very much for that, realizing that if he can save Ruri, then he really will get an army of undying loyalists, given to the fact that Ruri is so, well, popular, and also for the fact that, well, as you all see, if that village elder really is Kohaku's and Ruri's father, then yeah, I think that's the one and only way to make Senku stay in this village. So he begins a very long explanation, which technically I don't understand, but then again I'm not smart, so I don't know. He mentions that the thing they need to find is an antibiotic. Technically, I didn't think of that. That's actually pretty smart. An antibiotic. I mean, the reason why I didn't think of that is I don't have so much faith in medicine myself, and do an antibiotic really work? Tell me, if you have a very bad case of cold or something else, did you take an antibiotic and get felt better? According to Senku, this has saved hundreds of thousands of lives. Is that true? Seeing that they cannot make a blood test to discover what the name of this disease is, it is worth a shot. But again, whatever that disease is, we don't know. But I still think it maybe, just maybe, it's an extremely case of strong common cold she has. If it's cancer, then that antibiotic will not work at all. Oh yeah, and we see a cameo from Taichu and his girl-to-be. Because while Chrome and Kohaku are new characters, it's pretty clear that, well, they are stand-in for Taifu and this Yushara, I think her name was. Especially Chrome, whose blockheadness and extremely over-the-topiness is extremely similar to Taifu. Not that that's a bad thing, but you get my thing. So Senku begins to tell for them that they need to make... there are two different ways to make this cure-all. They can either make a penicillin from organic matter or the sulfur drugs from rocks. And he then begins... And then he begins the very thing I do not exactly explain. He says that the most famous example is making pencil out of blue mold. Because penicillin is incredibly useful, sulfur drugs were lost in the shadow of history. But seeing that they are in the Stone Age is something very rare. So they need to find the sulfur drug root in this stone world. And even though and after that they need an immense amount of patience and efforts, it's 1,000,000,000% certainty. But then maybe, just maybe, they will arrive at their cure-all. Because he then says to Chrome, they're not gods or natural geniuses. Humankind have evolved, step by step. It started with one man's brilliant steps and then he carried it on to another one. However, I just saw a video from WatchMojo.com. There are so many geniuses that took their brilliant ideas with them to the grave, and I have hated them for that. If their ideas had been made public, or at least how to do, then maybe this world would have been a better place. But alas, everything that is a better place will never be made clear. But Senku is right with the fact that he says that they got this far by struggling on our own. So he writes a map where he begins to tell what they need and what they need. It's an extremely complicated map, but I'll read it so you can see. At start they need iron, but for that they need strong magnets, which is like electricity that attracts copper and phosphorus. They also need alcohol, vinegar, almost like an acidic anhydrine, and carbonation, which can become ammonia. And from the electricity they need sodium hydroxide, which can also be derived from salt, and which also can become from nitrogen. Well, I know what I'm saying here doesn't make sense, but hey, I'm just trying to read from this map, and it's getting movements all over the place. It's even going to be my page there. So if you don't understand, don't worry, I don't understand either. And from the salt, there can be nitric chloride acid, which can also come from sulfuric acid, which also become sodium hydrogen sulfate. And from the nitro, it becomes chlorofosudric acid. And then finally, that will come in, and the final one will be sodium bicarbonate and then later coal with amyl. The final ingredients is basically chlorophosphoric acid, sodium bicarbonate, amyl ammonia, and acidic erythritite. So basically what Senku is saying that they need to, from that moment, needs to find that thing and then draw it out, and then they will find everything else. And if they get this far, then yes maybe will they get the cure-all. Later that night, as Senku has told everything else about how the world is spinning and many things more, Kohaku is watching the trees in the night, and we see the beautiful stars. One of the first times we see the night sky in Dr. Stone, and as he points towards the North Star. But according to Kohaku, it's slightly off, and then Senku realizes that the Earth's axis is slightly tilting. As we said before, there are many mysteries on how that disaster happened, but many things can have happened in the 3,700 years. So the North Star have probably moved. As Senku is only burning with this much passion, he is also wondering how could they have been more absorbent than me. But Kohaku says that he is not a useless guy. You are an amazing one. As Senku only smiles, saying with his new friends that even though 3,000 years it may be late, but it's an incredible time to be in. It's pretty nice to see how Senku has become so close with Kohaku and Chrome. But then he realizes how did Chrome realize that what was north, and he points towards something he'd put forward. He put a stone on a leaf in water, and it strangely floated, and it pointed towards north. And then Senku realizes that it's a magnet, much to Chrome's frustration. Well, so I hate to break it to you, Chrome, I don't think you can find anything that surprises Senku when it comes to science. The only thing that can surprise him is one thing that is from science. So the one thing that surprised him is the fact that Chrome has successfully managed to find a magnet, even if he did not know it. And with that magnet, the three of them begins to their quest for science map, in hopes of finding and making that antibiotic that hopefully will make Ruri feel better. As they collect the black sand and acquire iron sand, which is the first ingredients, Senku saying, "The curtain lifts on the Iron Age. This is getting thrilling." Oh yeah, and by the way, we see one thing. It's confirmation that the Stone Age people really do have something over their breasts and, well, private parts. Only that they don't have a string or bra. They have, well, fundushi. Kohaku and Chrome have a fundushi over their most private parts, while Kohaku also have a bra. So I guess that means she is not completely nude under that dress. So yeah, these stone people are not so primitive as I thought they were. They really have made good clothes. They should share some of that with Senku. But this is what this new arc is about. This arc is to make that science map come true. Will they make the antibiotic? Only by making that antibiotic will the village very likely recognize Senku. If they save Ruri, then Senku will have an undying followers that will help him to take down the evil that resides on the other side. But oh yeah, there's also one other thing we'll have to end before this video is over, and that is the fact that one of those villagers says that Senku could very well be from one of those exiled people, because apparently a very long time ago there were some people that were exiled from this village, meaning that the guy, that Tsukasa, I think that was the villain's name, is not the only bad guy we very likely will see this arc, or in the future for all that matter. So give me your thoughts. If you have any